Don't get confused with lies. I think people try their best to maintain appearances, but are quick to run into a wall. It's being codependent that causes this, and it's becoming independent that changes this. Like I've seen it, I've seen it everywhere I've gone. I've seen numerous people, how would you say it, submitted unto a certain situation. Like they're submitted. They are, how would you say it? They out of their free will, you know, have submitted unto a certain situation, and certain and that situation you can see it. You can see it. Some situations you see more. How would you say it? More clearly. There's other situations that you don't see so clearly. That you would have to ask. You would have to be around the individual for you to become aware of what the individual is doing, what type of lifestyle, what type of, how would you say it, situation the person has submitted themselves to. For example, when you see a white old man with a young, with a young 18, 19-year old, you know, what do you think? That the older man is a faggot, and that he's, buying things, and, how would you say it, basically taking advantage of the younger person. If the younger person's an adult, there's nothing nobody can do about it. You know, like, hey, you know what? He's there because he wants to. It's his free will. But you could see the situation that, how would you say it? The situation that the individual is in. You know, and there's, like I said, there's other situations like the females. The females, they're, how would you say it? They're not gonna be walking around. How would you say it? Rarely do you see a young female, an 18, 19-year old, walking around with a 35, 40-year old. You don't see that. I'm pretty sure that in the future, I'm going to start to see it. I am going to start to see that. But how would you say it? But as, like I said, it's in a female, the female doesn't go out and about, doesn't expose. They're more smarter and more careful about it. I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know. In my life, I hardly ever see that ever. And so, there's numerous situations that a person can fall into. Numerous situations. I remember there was this one waitress. She was like, she was standing by a window, inside of a restaurant, and I was, cleaning up, and I was a busboy, and the waitress, she called me over to the window, and she's like, "Come here," and I was like, "Yes. What do you want?" She's like, I was like, "What's up? What do you want?" And she's like, "Look, come here," and I was like, "What's up?" She opened the window blinds, and she pointed. She was looking outside, and she was pointing outside, and she says, "You see that Mustang?" And I was like, "Yeah, I see it." She's like, "It's mine." And I was like, "Okay, good for you." And then she's like, "At my house I have a truck, and it's also mine." And she's like, "And my grandma, she died, so I have a house." And I was like, "What the hell? Why are you telling me all this? Like, why are you telling me all this? Like, I would like to know why you're telling me all this. Like, out of nowhere, maybe in the conversation or something, right?" But this female, this waitress, she just called me to, like, I guess, flaw, to boast about the things that she had. But it wasn't that she was after, to boast. What she was after was me. She was after me. She wanted me to get with her, and she was offering me, you know, materialistic junk. And like I said, I could have fallen into that situation. I could have been in that situation, You know what I'm saying? I could have been in that situation, and it's really messed up. And then, like, not even that. Like, there's some people that are more different about it. Like, they create all these lies. Like, I've noticed how people create all these lies, and like when it comes to like behaving in a certain manner, like if they get stuck, if they get stuck, if the re like if the reaction does not come out of them impulsively, it doesn't come out of them impulsively. They have to think about it before they, how would you say, react. And it's like very very funny. And then like I've seen situations in which the lies are so many lies, are so many lies, that the individual seems like beyond stressed, scared, frightened, confused, um, and like when you see it happen, it's like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like they're doing something to be able to do something else, but that something that they're doing, that they're submitting themselves to, they don't like it. They don't like it, you know. In some cases they do like it, but in others, in most cases, they don't. And this is what causes this, how would you say it, this these reactions out of them, where it's like I said, where it's all having to do with being independent, you know, and codependent. If they're codependent on somebody, they're gonna have to do whatever that person says, insinuates, you know, because in most cases, I guess in most cases, it leads to, if you don't do this, go to the street, go to the street. And so, what do you do? What do you do? And I've seen the situations before me, and it's just very depressing. And I say to myself, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, that's not gonna happen to me. I don't want to live that type of experience.